going to cover the proper terminology of the surfboard. We just want to make sure that when we're using these words and you know what they are, we want to make sure we're all on the same page. Just real quickly, the front of the board is called the nose. The back of the board is called the tail. All right, the sides are called the rails. So when we tell you to grab the rails, you basically want to grab those rails just like Amy's doing now, and here's why. That wave that you're going to see here in just a few minutes, and you guys have been here before, that wave is 85,000 gallons of water. I know that some surf schools teach that you can put your hands like this, but you really don't want to, because that water can wash you off the board. So you want to start you off with good habits, and you physically want to hold those rails. So you get the nose, the tail, the rails. This thing back here that Amy's going to attach to your ankle is called the leash. All right? So with that in mind, Amy's going to help me out this morning. If you were to go to the ocean and you see somebody surfing, you see them surfing with their upper body like so, and they're kind of swaying around, you know that that surfer is a beginner. And here's why. Because surfing's not really in your upper body. It's primarily in your lower body and your hips and then your knees. Your hips, you want them to be nice and loose. You want your knees to be good and bent at all times in your shot. All right? So now let's put these two things together. The nose of the surfboard acts like a gas pedal in the car. So if you watch Amy, she's taking her weight in her hips and her knees, she's transferring it toward the nose. What's going to happen? Your board's going to go faster. Okay? On the flip side, the tail is like the brake pedal. So watch, she's going to take the weight now, transferring hips and knees to the tail. And so now what's going to happen? She's going to slow down. So if you're surfing, your board's kind of bogging down a little bit, you probably have too much weight on the tail. What should you do? Put a little bit of weight on the nose. On the flip side, if you're surfing and whitewater splashing in the face, you're about ready to nose dive, we're all going to giggle. And so what should you do? Transfer that weight to the tail, bring that nose up, and hopefully you'll do it just in time, and you'll save your life. We cover this because a lot of new surfers have a tendency, whether they're surfing with us or they go back home, they get into that wave, they jump up, and they throw both their feet way back on the tail, like so. So now what happens? Is she jamming the gas or the brakes? The brakes. So what you guys up here will see is that nose is going to come all the way up. The board's going to come to a complete stop. And even though you'll have two certain instructors push you into the wave, jam the brakes, the ride is over. There's nothing we can do to keep you in that wave. So I say this every morning. You want to have a happy balance between the nose and the tail, and we're going to show you how to do that. All right, so now that we know about that, what I want to cover real quickly right now are the two proper ways to stand on the surfboard. So when the instructor pushes you into the wave, the instructor is going to yell, stand up. When you hop up, if you hop up like this, with your left foot in front, right foot in back, if you stand this way, you are regular. All right? I don't feel comfortable standing that way. I feel more comfortable the other way. I prefer to have my right foot in front, left foot in back. If you stand this way, you're goofy foot. If you have regular foot, you have goofy foot, has nothing to do with the Disney character. It just is what it is. We had that name long before. It doesn't matter whether you're regular or goofy. When you paddle over to Amy, she's going to ask you which one you are. You're going to tell her, and then she's going to take the leash, and she's going to attach it to the back ankle. And it goes on the back ankle because if you put it on the front, it's greater chance it's going to get tangled around your feet. So that's why it goes on. Right, there's one more way to surf that's not correct. You surfers love to surf like Fred Flintstone. Do you know who Fred Flintstone is?
Yes.
Okay, just I had to be sure. All right, did any of you see the Teen Beach movie, Disney? What? You did. Okay, so we taught those guys how to surf. They were right out here, like we met them. They got a little ding. They were awesome. Then they go in the movie and then they do this and we're like, what? Did y'all watch the Teen Beach movie? Oh, sorry. Anyhow, here's the thing. When you surf like this with your feet side by side, call this tiki style. Why? Because it kind of looks like something cute that you put on your back porch. But here, and it looks great, right? But the reality is, if you hop up on your board surfing like this, as you drop in, you're going to get launched off it. It looks pretty wild. It looks a lot like that. All right? And more importantly, you already heard me say it. I'm going to really emphasize it in just a few minutes. But we're going to really emphasize it in a few minutes, putting more weight on your front foot. So when you're surfing tiki style, there is no front foot. So you've got to slide that front foot forward. Okay, now that we know about that, what I want to cover now is the proper surfing stance. I'm going to break that down, and then we're going to show you how you're going to go from your bellies into the surfing stance. Okay? So when the instructor pushes you into the wave, the instructor is going to yell, stand up. You're going to hop up right into this surfing stance. So let's break this down. So when they push you in the wave, they're going to yell, stand up. When you hop up, you're going to hop up so your front foot winds up about dead center of the surfboard, followed by your back foot. You want to keep your feet about shoulder width apart. Here's why. If you put your feet too wide, you don't have a lot of control. We see this a lot. If you put your feet too close together, you're tiki style, so now you're going to be really wobbly. So shoulder width apart is where you want to be. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to travel up our body. Next stop are the knees. I said this earlier, I'm going to emphasize this is critical. Your knees have to be bent at all times. Okay, if you lock your knees like so, chances are you're going to wipe out. So it's very important to keep those knees good and bent. So any of you snowboard? Okay, because my snowboarders lock their knees. We don't care about that. traveling up her body, next stop is her backside. Notice her backside is low. She's not standing really tall. Very important, keep her backside low. Okay, again, her hips are loose. And very importantly, her back is straight. For whatever reason, we see new surfers, they have a tendency to bend at the waist or arch their back. Which way is she going to fall? That way. So how do you minimize that? You bring your backside down, you put your back up nice and straight. Now here's the thing. I kind of like the joke. Thomas and I one day, this girl were like, hey, you need to get your back straight. She's like, and we're like, okay, yeah, that's good. You want your back straight, but you need to relax. You got to relax. So don't uber concentrate. Right, nice loose, straight back, but nice and loose. Now take a good look at her shoulder. Where's it facing? The nose. You'll see sometimes in some of those TV shows, those surfing shows, where they kind of have their chest facing the nose. Awesome for pictures, but if you're the surfer, it's very bad for balance. So if you stand, you're going to pivot around so your shoulders face nose. So when we push you into the wave, we're going to yell stand up. You're going to hop up just like this surfing stance. Notice she has a little weight on her front foot. Arms are off for balance. And this is the surfing stance, whether you're regular foot or goofy foot, it's the exact same. Really quickly, if you look at the stance, it's very similar to stances in other sports. Baseball, golf, soccer, hockey, basketball defensive stance, but there are some differences, and they're in the feet. So I want to draw your attention back down to the feet. 3 critical things real fast. Number 1, your feet need to be flat. You don't want to go on your tippy toes or on your heels. Keep your feet flat. Number 2, her feet are centered. This one seems to me to be the most common sense, but we see this one done incorrectly the most. If I were to divide this board in half, it's going to cut right through the center of her feet, right? We see heels way over here almost every day. We see toes way over here. What's going to happen? And if you've surfed before, you're going to roll. These boards are a little more rail sensitive than the fiberglass boards. You're going to roll it. So down the middle is where you want to be. Okay? And lastly, excuse me, where are her toes pointed? Toward the rails. Exactly. Some of those other sports, your toes are kind of facing forward or kind of ducked out. That works in those sports. In surfing, it does not. So you stand, you're going to pivot around so those toes are facing rails. All right, now, the moment of truth. How are you going from your bellies to the surfing stance? Bum, 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 bum. All right, here we go. When you climb up on your board, you want to be more toward the tail. You don't need to look, you can feel it. Here's why. Because if you get way up here on the nose, this is my favorite part of the talk. What'll happen is, if you're way up on the nose, as you get going in the wave, your nose will catch in the water. Your tail's going to stand upright, and then your board is going to turn into a catapult. And you're going to get launched, like a spitball on a spoon. And you're going to, if you ever did spitball on a spoon? Yeah, you're going to be the spitball. And I'm not even going to lie, we're going to laugh at you, because that's the funniest thing. I almost drowned one time laughing at this guy. He was fine, by the way. But that was like the funniest thing ever. So we're trying to get you in the sweet spot. Every board has one, and that sweet spot's different for everyone. It looks like your hands are going to go right at chest level like a military push-up. Don't put them too far forward, because if you do, it's harder to push up. And if you forget, we'll remind you, pull your hands back, your elbows are up, and then notice that she's on her toes and she's in this push-up position waiting for that wave to come out. We're going to push you into wave. We're going to yell stand up. It's a 2-step process to get you in the surfing stance. Step 1 is a push-up with a nice flat back. That's it. That's all you got to do. Notice that she's not going to her knees, and here's why. If you go to your knees, you're hitting the brakes. It's kind of counterintuitive. You're trying to catch wave and you're stopping. Okay, so this is what we tell people. And unless you have a bad back or bad hips, we can help you modify your pop-up. But the rule of thumb is really you don't need to go to your knees. It adds an extra step and you're stopping the board. So, very important, back is flat. Here's another quick thing. We're not at yoga class. This is surf class, not yoga. So, what's she doing right now? Downward dog, right. Anytime in surfing, your backside is higher than your head. Your board is going to be very wobbly. So you've got to get your backside down. Back is flat. That is step 1. That is all you have to do. Now here's step 2, little froggy hop. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Okay.
Her front foot winds up even with her hands, right? Followed by her back foot. Notice that her backside, her center of gravity is low. Okay? Her knees are not touching the board. Her knees are inside of her elbows. And where's she looking? She's looking up. Remember what I said over there? You're going to surf where you look. You look right here, which is where most new surfers look. That's where you're going to wind up. Don't worry, we've all done it. I'll be like, hey.
I was really good at that.
All right, so now this is where she is, right? At this point now, the most important thing that she's doing is holding the rails. Most new surfers get here, they're like, woohoo, I'm surfing. Hands go up in the air like an Old West shootout, stick them up. You ever heard of stick them up? Oh yeah, all right, that's good. All right, and then what happens is they wipe out. So when you pop, your board's gonna be wobbly. So you You want to hold the rails, 1001, 1002, while your bird's steadying, and then you're going to go right into that surfing stance. So 2 steps, she's in that surfing stance I just covered. That make sense? So she's going to show it to you now, a little more sped up, and with the paddling, because let's face it, after today, if you don't come back to us, nobody's pushing into the wave. So she's going to show it to you with the rhythm of the paddle, and a little more real time, and this is how it'll look, and we'll still push you unless you ask us not to. Paddling, fingers together, hands cupped, think Michael Phelps, one arm into the other, you'll get back out 95 seconds and cry. All right. The key thing though is your arms have to come out of the water. I had a little girl about 2 weeks ago, she had her arms underwater. And I'm not going anywhere, Miss Jen, I'm like, I know. Arms have to go up and out, right? Okay, so here we go. She's going to show you the paddle, it's going to look like this. You're going to hear the loud kaboom, take a few paddles, push you, y'all stand up, push up, pop, hold, stand and pivot around, weight on the front foot, arms out for bounce. Now real quickly, where's her weight? This is important. To the front, exactly, here's why. As you ride bigger waves, you've got to commit. That means you got to put weight on the front foot, that's going to drive her board down into the wave. The speed of dropping in is going to stand her upright normally. It's not something she's thinking about. It's going to happen to her body automatically. And here's why this is important. If you drop in standing straight, the speed of dropping in is going to do what? It's going to send you off the back. It happens tons of times. So if you get up and go flying off the back, we're just going to tell you,